let's have a conversation that we kind of teased you with yesterday. A couple of things going on. First of all, the House of Representatives in Washington State is chewing on capital gains tax.
Yes, sir.
And the Senate's already passed it, one vote, 25-24, but that's enough. Passed it on to the House. The House margin, I think there's 16 more Democrats than Republicans, so we suspect that will be a bigger victory. And of course, somebody will either want to take it to court, or in some instances, what has been done is that referendums are filed to retract or to kill the bill, as it were, or after it's passed. I don't know where my language is today. I think I left it in my other jacket. But
I'll go get your jacket.
We've got somebody coming up next that can talk for both of us.
That's right, Dave. We have anti-tax initiative and Tim Eyman, anti-taxer Tim Eyman on the phone this morning.
And he's here to tell us that he thinks the referendum idea would be falling into a trap.
Calls it Inslee's income tax. Good morning, Tim.
Morning, Tim.
Hey, appreciate you guys having me on.
You got it.
You bet. I listened to your interview with Mr. Rance the other day, and thought you made a pretty clear point. Thought maybe our listeners should hear that as well. So let's start with a couple of things to talk about. Let's start with why you think that a referendum rather than an initiative, should this thing pass, and I think every one of us thinks that it will, why that should be the preferred way to go and not leaving it up.
Well, there's a couple of points. First of all, the whole lawsuit thing. They're begging for a lawsuit. They're inviting it. They most of the justices on the state Supreme Court were named by Inslee, and he says he's very confident it'll be upheld by the courts.
Wow.
But all the courts will say is this is allowed. It's not whether or not it's liked or supported by the people. It's only, is it allowed? I think it's a slam dunk that they'll sign off on it. So how do you get rid of it? There's two kinds of powers in our state constitution. There's the referendum power and the initiative power. A referendum is taking their law, putting it on the ballot. This law that they've written never says income tax, always concentrates on what the money's going to be spent on, which there's no guarantee it will be, and it uses this kind of Orwellian language to make it sound like it's something that it's not. An initiative, however, is the citizens saying, in our case, the initiative we're filing, we want to prohibit any kind of income tax, including this particular bill. By broadening it and making it where you're capturing all of it, not just part of it, you're not only getting rid of this law, but you're also prohibiting any kind of income tax in the future, because for the last 85 years they keep going, well, how about this income tax? How about this income tax? How about this? And it's this whack-a-mole game that we've played. Let's have one definitive debate with an initiative that says, let's prohibit any kind of income tax, including this one.
Wonder, though, I mean, I get the idea behind that. That makes total sense. But you have a Supreme Court that's prepared then to stand by and say, well, Tim, once again, your initiative is too broad. It combines two ideas, this one and all future. Are you any concerned about that?
There isn't, because it's prohibiting any kind of income tax. That's it. That's all the initiative does. When we did the $30 tabs initiative, we had to get into bonding issues and other kinds of things that said we're the second subject. It was a pretty long, lengthy initiative. This one is like a single sentence, no government can impose any kind of income tax, and we just make sure that we include this particular bill in there. This is something I've been working on for years now, because we've obviously seen this coming for a long time. A lot of Republican bills that have been introduced in Olympia that never went anywhere. We're trying to prohibit any kind of income tax. I mean, we're really on solid ground here, but you really have to kind of step back and just go, it's not a matter of do we fight this? It's how do we fight it the most effectively?
Right.
Do you want to count on these 9 justices of the Supreme Court to come riding to the rescue and saving us? No. Do we want to count on Bob Ferguson describing this particular law they're passing and do a referendum? No. Would you rather instead take it to the voters, the same voters that voted 10 times against any kind of income tax, and saying, do you want to prohibit any kind of income tax in the state of Washington? I just think if we're going to fight these things, we have to make sure to not fall for the traps that the Democrats have laid out for us.
Yep, good argument. All right, so you had a victory the other day. the kind of thing that the legislature would like to get rid of, and that's the opening of the books and showing you what their taxes are going to cost them over the next decade or so, those advisory votes.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how that came about.
Well, it's really, really kind of exciting is that, as soon as the election came around, I've always known that they've been targeting these things. For those people who don't know, every November you vote on the tax increases the legislature passed that year. 9 legislative sessions in a row. Every legislative session they've raised taxes 35 times, and they cost the taxpayers $52.1 billion. The reason we know that is because we have these tax advisory votes that inform the voters on which taxes were increased, how much they're going to cost, and most importantly, it lists how legislators voted on the bill, yes and no. What that really does is it really brings transparency and accountability to the legislative process. So we knew they were going to target it. We've been pounding the heck out of them with simple emails from regular citizens signing up, permanentoffense.com. If you go to permanentoffense.com, you can sign up for these email updates, and literally thousands of people have pounded all 147 legislators with emails saying, don't hide your tax increases, allow us our opportunity to be able to register our support or opposition to the taxes you pass. And the bill officially died last week, and we got confirmation from the Republicans on those committees that it's dead for this session, and it's 100% because thousands of people got involved and fought back during the virtual legislative session where you're not allowed to be there in person, but you can do it all remotely. We actually pulled it off just with emails and a lot of really compelling testimony. So I'm just really proud of so many people for getting involved, and hope more people do. It's, again, permanentoffense.com.
Yeah, that's good. And you're right. That is really the one way that everybody has a chance to see what was done. Whether they pay attention to how we vote on it or not is another thing. But at least there's no excuse for not being forewarned and be on the lookout for future attempts at taxation and how much it's going to cost us all.
And look at this legislative session. I mean, my gosh, they're on a tax hiking rampage. Can't we at least find out which taxes were increased and how much they're going to cost us and how legislators voted? They're now going to be on the November ballot one way or another. So that's a really huge victory. It's a big thing. You have to always set your sights on what's a realistic victory when Democrats overwhelmingly control all branches of government. It's stopping bad crap.
Yeah.
Stopping bad crap. They have tons of bad crap. A lot of anti-Second Amendment stuff, a lot of horrible things that they're doing, but it's nice to know that we're going to, be informed, and that's thanks to voters voting for this one initiative we did, and we did it 3 times, and the voters voted for it every time, and they always included these tax advisory votes. So it's a big victory early in the session, and at this stage, we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, no kidding. One last thing, unless Lance got something.
I was just going to say the SBC campaign. Yeah. Okay. That's bad stuff. I was just asking. I want to ask you, what can people do now to fight this? If I'm sitting here in Yakima, well, I mean, what kind of action can I take? Because I just keep hearing that, here comes the income tax, and I just feel so helpless.
And that's the big thing. It's, again, broken record. Permanentoffense.com. Go to permanentoffense.com. You can sign up for our email updates. We literally have 50,000 people on there now, and we literally get thousands of people, all of them being able to very easily email all 147 legislators. One of the big tricks they try and tell you is, only talk to your own representatives. Don't talk to anybody else. That's ridiculous. All 147 of them are making decisions that affect your life. And there's no decision the government makes that has a greater impact on your life. It is passing bills that take more of your money. And so we've been hitting all 147 of them for the last couple of months, and it's clearly having an impact. And I'm just really, really proud of everybody for doing that. It's permanentoffense.com. And also one last thing, I'm Irish. Today is my day. One of the reasons I've survived over the last 8.5 years with this onslaught with the Attorney General is I'm stubborn, just like every other Irishman is. I'm not going to give that son of a gun the satisfaction of him breaking me anytime along the way. So the Irish have a victory, just the fact that I'm on this show today and not destroyed by Bob Ferguson over the last 8.5 years.
Well, and that's another thing I was going to ask you about. He's trying to find money on you that doesn't exist. What's the status of all of that?
It is truly insane. And forgive me for a second website. It's timdefense.com, so we can appeal this decision. Timdefense.com. $2.6 million fine. Crazy. I have $29,000 in the bank. That's it. He now wants $2.8 million on top of that for attorney's fees. You go to timdefense.com, you can learn all about it, but he's literally trying to prohibit me for the rest of my life from being politically active in the state of Washington. And it's beyond silly, the fact that he knows I don't have $2.6 million. He knows I don't have $5.5 million. He knows that I've got $29,000 in the bank, yet he's gratuitously pushing this thing over and over again. You introduced me earlier as an anti-tax activist. After the last 8.5 years, I feel like you need to introduce me as professional defendant.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing for the last 8.5 years with this
sure.
onslaught from the AG.
Well, just wait till he's governor, then he can launch the guard on you. So
It's to that point, the drone outside my window is starting to get a little annoying. But other than that, my paranoia level has gone to a different level. But yeah, it's $5.4 million he's demanding of me. Lifetime ban on future political activity. Clearly, this judge is in his back pocket in the Thurston County Kangaroo Court, and so I'm hopeful that people will help me be able to appeal this ridiculous restriction on the First Amendment by going to timdefense.com.
yeah.